Good evening, beautiful woman. Welcome to Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings, a podcast full of goddess stories, witches' secrets, colors of women, and fairy seasons to integrate serenity, abundance, joy, and magic into your life. This is episode 44, The TooMuch Woman Travels in Time, episode 6, Lessons about the Past, Beliefs, and Fangirl Attitudes. I am IsayaBelle, Creatrix, magical pragmatic inspiration mentor, tech goddess teacher, and traveling priestess, and this podcast aims to accompany you for peaceful and inspiring evenings. Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings is published very irregularly, but you will find more information and the references I am talking about on my website, IsayaBelle.com. Subscribe to the podcast on the platform of your choice to be informed of the publication of each new episode. If you like this podcast, you can support it by leaving stars, blue thumbs, and reviews on whatever platform you listen to. Lessons about the past, beliefs, and fangirl attitudes. Picture this. Belfast, October 2019. I am 52 years old. I am on the deck of the Titanic, DiCaprio style. Literally. Or at least where the Titanic was last docked on land. Ever since I can remember, I have been obsessed with the Titanic. The boat, not the movie. And yes, that means that I'm old, because I knew about the boat long before the movie ever existed. I must have been 8. I wasn't a very good reader yet. My parents had a huge collection of books, shelves and shelves of paperbacks, in every house we lived in. And there were many, but this is yet another story. Every time, my father would build a library, a room for the books to live in. I had my own shelves, with my own books, of course. Since books were such a sacred object in our family, my father literally believed that literature had saved his life when he spent 2 years in hospital at age 15. So yes, I had my own books full of stories and images and other worlds. I could visit any time I felt lonely or sad, being an only child in the world of very, very self-centered adults. But the library, my parents' library, contained secret and almost forbidden treasures, and I would sneak peek at it every chance I got. One book in particular was always calling me. A very shabby, dusty, cheap edition of Walter Lord's book narrating the events that happened on that fateful April night of 1912. The cover of the book, a rather badly painted scene of the actual sinking, was attracting me like a magnet, and I would go and look at it at least once a month. I never read the book back then. I just gazed at the other cover and made up the stories and imagined what it could be about. I have a very vivid imagination. Or do I? Fast forward 20 years. I am a bookshop keeper. Yes, that would make sense, wouldn't it? And happy owner of my own bookstore. Every month, the various publishers' representatives come and present the new books to be released soon. At the end of 1997, all of them, from literally all the French publishers, have books about the Titanic. It so happens the movie is about to be released, and James Cameron, who directed the movie, has led an expedition beforehand to recover the actual sunk ship. And they did. They found the wreck and brought back stuff from the Titanic they found at the bottom of the ocean. The whole world is suddenly obsessed. It brings back the memory of that book cover for me. And I blissfully sink back into my own fascination. I read all the books, watch all the documentaries. Of course, I go and see the movie as soon as it is released in France in 1998. And I enjoy all of that so much, to the point of real obsession. I collect memorabilia, visit the exhibition of the objects reclaimed from the sea. I actually had to travel 4 hours in a huge snowstorm to do so, but that didn't stop me. And just to be precise, it has nothing to do with Kate and Leo, or maybe just a tad. but it's way more profound than that. I do not even understand my fascination. I do try to justify it by arguing that the event was the last hooray of the Industrial Revolution, the first blow to a society that believed that science and industry could defy nature and win, that I was curious about so many amazing facts around the catastrophe, that many created a precedent on how we deal with things nowadays, the first ever SOS, the lesson about the number of lifeboats and life vests that could have been or should now be included in any boat, etc., etc. But truthfully, I did not know. I indulged myself, and voila. Fast forward another 20 years. And here I am, Belfast, October 2019, about to visit the Titanic Belfast Museum. A year before that, still indulging my obsession, I went to Cobb in Ireland to visit the Titanic experience, Cobb being the last port the Titanic visited before its dramatic journey across the Atlantic Ocean. Loads of emotions and feelings, but still I do not understand my attraction for all things Titanic. Let me specify that, ever since the beginning, all this interest has been layered with emotion. I cried so hard at every book, every movie. The 1999 exhibition had me in tears again, and don't get me started about the views of the actual ship in the movie or the documentaries. So, Belfast 2019. By then, I believe I know nearly everything there is to know about the darned boat, the journey, the iceberg, the unsinkable Molly Brown, the imbecility of poor Thomas Andrews, architect of the boat, the behaviours of all officers and notable passengers, and so forth. Still, I have booked myself the VIP treatment in Belfast. Premium ticket that includes the discovery tour, the audio guide, the photo, and the afternoon tea in the restaurant that reproduces the actual first-class dining room of the ship. I will end up spending a whole day there. Even my beloved mentor inviting me for tea with a friend could not pull me out of there. I was immersed, pun intended, in the presentations and stories, the building of the ship, the photos, the reconstitution of the cabins and dining rooms, the reenactment videos, etc. I, as I said earlier, also stood at the front of the ship's last land placement, raised my arms and shouted, "I'm the queen of the world," because that's what you do. All the while fully enjoying myself and completely oblivious to the reasons why I was fascinated, obsessed even. And then, a passengers list. The umpteenth one I'd looked at over the years. Suddenly, it clicked. There she was. There I was. She was 8 years old when she drowned. She was no one. Just a blonde, chubby, 8-year-old little Swedish girl, third-class passenger with all her family, 7 or 8 brothers and sisters and the parents, if I remember. All perished. She was me. I was her. That now explained everything. The fascination, the obsession, the emotional attachment ever since I was 8 years old myself. Okay, so I don't believe in past lives. Or at least I didn't. But this, oh my goddess, this was a game changer in my life. A huge shift in my spiritual journey and awakening. I know deep in my heart and in my belly, I was on that ship and I drowned on that fateful night of 1912. I remember now. I gave myself permission that day to allow for my beliefs to change and to acknowledge facts that I did not want, that I feared to allow before. I gave myself permission to fully enter the weirdo world of past lives, spirit world, and the like. I gave myself permission to be the full-on, too much, witchy, magic-connected woman goddess I am. Today I give myself permission to share that with you, with the world. Yes, I was on the Titanic. I remember. As a matter of fact, I remember so much more now, so many more lives and experiences. Do you? Do you feel there is much more to it than visible? Do you desire to find out? Are you okay to change your beliefs, whether about past lives or anything else? Are you okay to face the fear of change and enter a whole new world, a whole new life? If you feel this is your path, that you need help to let go of your past and fully step into your present and into radical responsibility towards yourself, absolute self-love, and stop betraying yourself every chance you get. If you're ready to invest in yourself, let's connect. I would be so happy to hear from you about all that. Thank you in advance for your comment. So much for today. See you soon for my next online adventures. Until then, I send you love, light, and gratitude. Isaiah. That's it for this episode. The next one is still in creation. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to support this podcast, share, subscribe, and leave stars, blue thumbs, and a review on whichever platform you listen to. If you want to be accompanied in the change processes that life offers you, if you want to participate in the awakening of feminine energy in the world, live your life as a goddess, know the secrets of witches, and apply the rituals of fairies in your daily life, contact me on my website, IsayaBelle.com. You can also subscribe to my newsletter to be informed of all the news in the real and virtual worlds of IsayaBelle. You will of course find this podcast on all platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., but also on YouTube and on my site, IsayaBelle.com, on the podcast page.